The appointment of the Deaconesses. On Sunday, January 16th of the year 29, 3 days before the third preaching tour of Galilee began, the apostles of John the Baptist arrived at Zebedee's house. The next day, a joint meeting followed, with Andrew and Abner presiding. The apostles of John worked in Judea and had their headquarters in Hebron. They regularly met with the aim of merging their organizations into one body. An important agenda item at this meeting was the anointing of the sick with certain types of oil prior to the prayer for healing. John's apostles used anointing oil when praying for a sick person and now wanted to establish this as a ritual for both groups, but Jesus' apostles refused to commit to such an arrangement. Jesus never participated in these meetings, nor did he ever make a statement about the decisions taken. However, on the evening before the meeting, Jesus had informed all the apostles present that a group of female evangelists would also accompany them on the upcoming mission tour. Of all the daring things Jesus undertook in connection with his career on earth, perhaps the most astonishing was his sudden announcement on the evening of January 16th. Tomorrow we will appoint 10 women as evangelists for the kingdom. In the 2 weeks when most of the apostles and all the evangelists were on leave, Jesus had secretly called together 10 devout women. He had carefully selected these women. They were women who had proven themselves in the management of the earlier camp and tent hospital. Often, these women had listened to the teachings given to the new evangelists. It was outright revolutionary that Jesus dared to appoint women. They were given a full-fledged task to preach the gospel of the kingdom and to care for the sick. At that time, women were undervalued. They were not even welcome in the public area of the synagogue. During the service, they could only sit in the so-called women's gallery, but were not allowed to participate. Therefore, it was astonishing that they were recognized as authorized teachers of the new gospel of the kingdom. The commission Jesus gave these 10 women was to teach the gospel and to assist the sick in suffering. This action was the starting point of true emancipation. From then on, men could no longer consider women as spiritually inferior. This was even a clear shock to the 12 apostles, and it had been a clever move by Jesus to announce this in the presence of John's apostles. Despite having heard the Master say many times that, "In the kingdom of heaven there is neither rich nor poor, neither free nor slave, neither man nor woman, all are sons and daughters of God," they were literally struck dumb when he announced that he would appoint 10 women as religious teachers and even allow them to travel with them. This decision caused a stir in the Jewish world, and the enemies of Jesus tried to exploit it. But the female believers in the gospel firmly stood by their chosen sisters and gave unequivocal approval of this recognition of the woman's role in religious work. Jesus authorized these women to form their own organization and instructed Judas to provide financial resources for their equipment and pack animals. This equality of women, by recognizing them as equals, continued to be practiced by the apostles immediately after the ascension of Jesus, although later generations reverted to old customs. During the early days of the Christian Church, such women were called deaconesses and were generally recognized. However, Paul acknowledged this in theory but never made it part of his own practice, finding it personally difficult to implement them in practice.